Mortgage interest rates continue to climb month after month after month. And many are questioning, could this be the end of the white-hot Bay Area housing market? Coming up on this week's Silicon Valley Snapshot. In today's current environment where mortgage interest rates continue to climb, it is very common for people to approach me, for individuals to approach me, for consumers to approach me and say, hey, Danny, I believe that the Bay Area housing market is going to falter due to the rising mortgage interest rates. And in today's video, we're going to look at the data and see how much validity there is to that sentiment. But before we get into the data, before we get into the numbers, if you are a home buyer in today's marketplace and you're looking for a comprehensive data set to assist you in your home buying decision making, you can go ahead and text the word data plus the zip code or the neighborhood or the area that you're looking in, and we'll get that information sent straight to your inbox. And if you're a home seller in today's marketplace and you're wondering, is now the right time for me to sell? And if I do sell, what should I price my property at? All of that information will be sent to your inbox when you text the word data plus your property address to the number down below. When we really sit back to think about what the impact of these rising mortgage interest rates could be on the housing market, first thing I always want to do when I start to think, oh, well, could this spell doom and gloom for the housing market that we're currently in, is looking back at historical trends, because history tends to repeat itself. What we're going to be looking at today are the historical trends and the historical impact of rising rates and how interest rates tend to correlate with home prices here in the United States. And before we even look at that data and before we even look at the historical trends, let's think about why rates usually tend to go up. What economic forces cause interest rates to rise? Simply put, interest rates tend to rise when the economy is flourishing. Conversely, rates start to tend to go down when the economy is faltering. The Fed tends to decrease rates when they need to artificially pump life back into the marketplace. And so when rates rise, it's the opposite. The economy is flourishing. And two things tend to happen when interest rates rise or when the economy is flourishing. Wages and inflation are both normally increasing when the economy is flourishing. And when wages go up, generally speaking, the purchase power for an individual goes up along with it. Why does wage increase even matter in this situation? Well, when you think about it, one of the key or core arguments to rising interest rates and its impact on the housing market, its negative impact on the housing market, is normally that rising interest rates will actually cause buyers' purchase power to go down. However, if wages are also going up at the same time, the negative impact of rising interest rates on an individual's purchase power is combated or offset by their rising wages. In other words, rising interest rates in a flourishing economy normally results or could result in a net neutral effect on a buyer's purchase power, contrary to many individuals' arguments that interest rates or rising interest rates have a negative effect on a buyer's purchasing power. Now that's on the demand side of things. How do rising interest rates impact the inventory levels? Because one would think, oh, well, it only impacts demand. That could not be further from the truth. In fact, it also impacts supply. You know who doesn't make any more money when wages go up? Retirees. And that entire segment has been the focus of a lot of the videos that I've made previously. We're starting to see individuals, or what we're seeing here, especially in the Bay Area, is this epidemic, so to speak, of retired age people, individuals from 55 to 70 years old who would traditionally be downsizing. Well, they're not downsizing anymore. They're not leaving the homes that they're in. Why? Well, for a couple of reasons, but mainly because they can't afford to rebuy into this marketplace anymore. When these 55 to 70-year-olds bought their dream home 20, 30 years ago, it was a fraction of the price that the homes are currently at today. And not only that, but rising interest rates are causing their purchase power to go down dramatically in conjunction with rising home prices. So for sellers who are looking to downsize and don't have any wages right now, they're actually more impacted than the individuals who are looking to buy right now that actually have a job. And so because of that, what we're seeing is that home sellers in the Bay Area in today's marketplace are trapped in their homes due to two reasons: rising home prices in conjunction with rising interest rates, and there is no rise in their wage to offset either of those. So they're stuck. They either move out of Silicon Valley altogether and get out of California, or they stay in their home, because the grandkids are here, their kids are here, their friends are here, their whole life is here. They're not going to uproot themselves and leave just because 3 of the bedrooms in their home aren't being used anymore. They're just going to say screw it and continue to live a beautiful life. And those homes will not be sold for the next 10, 20, or even 30 years in some cases. And even on a national level, we are starting to experience this. The average length of home ownership in the United States continues to climb every single year. And that is exacerbated here in the Bay Area. So rising interest rates in a lot of ways is actually having an opposite effect on the housing market than most people would anticipate. So one would think that rising interest rates would have a bigger impact on buyers than sellers. But could it be that the opposite is true? That it actually has more of an impact on would-be sellers than home buyers? Yale economist Robert Shiller actually agrees. There is not a tight fit at all between the two. High mortgage rates do not translate automatically into low home prices, he says. In order to demonstrate this point, look at this graph. If you can see it, there is really no correlation between home prices in blue and interest rates in yellow. Now, clearly, while there is no true correlation between rising interest rates and home prices, we could certainly make the argument that it impacts consumer sentiment, that it impacts housing affordability. But the proof is in the pudding. There is no direct correlation between the two. And in a lot of ways, there could actually be an opposite correlation than one might naturally assume, that it could actually impact potential sellers more than home buyers. One final thing to note here as we enter March of 2022, the conflict in Ukraine right now could actually cause mortgage rates to temporarily decrease. As reported by HousingWire.com, while mortgage rates trended upward in 2022, one unintended side effect of global uncertainty is that it often results in downward pressure on mortgage rates, said Odeta Kushi, Deputy Chief Economist of Title Insurance for First American. 10-year Treasury yield is down today, likely in response to the worsening Russia-Ukraine conflict, and mortgage rates may follow suit. Now, is this a guarantee? Absolutely not. But what could this do in the meantime? Well, the market's already white hot. Nothing is looking like that's going to slow down. And a temporary decrease in mortgage rates could cause a flood of new buyers to come into the marketplace and worsen what's already a white hot Bay Area housing market for home buyers. This could theoretically, for the short term, cause a wave, a surge of what was already a really high buyer demand. Something to keep in mind as we roll into the spring market here in 2022. And you can be sure that here at the Silicon Valley Snapshot, we will always be keeping you up to date with the latest trends and facts. And if you've come this far in the video, I don't know if you know this, but 94% of our viewers are not subscribed to this channel. So what are you waiting for? You've come this far. It doesn't cost you anything. Just press that subscribe button, click the little notification bell, and give us a thumbs up at the same time. Really helps me out, and it helps me get in front of more people just like you. And that's what we're about here. That's what we're all about here at the Selling Silicon Valley Group, is helping people and changing lives here in the San Francisco Bay Area. This is Danny Gould, everyone, Selling Silicon Valley, and I will catch all of you in the next video.